Hey everyone! Thank you for taking the time to join in with Uncommon Women Podcast, a dope podcast to bring light to reality from real life people sharing real life stories with a host of women having real life talk, the good and the bad, with no judgment. Uncommon Women's Loyalty is here to support those that need a safe space to speak their truth and rawness to the world. Tune in, relax, take notes, and let's vibe. Here are your hosts, Uncommon Women.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Uncommon Women. I'm Shanira.
And I am Tyra, the goal guru, the motivator.
Yes. So today we have an amazing guest speaker that's going to hit the stage in just a moment. By the name of Holly. She's a mother of 2 toddlers. She lost her firstborn in 2008, which we'll be discussing in today's story. But due to the tragic situation, she started to become depressed and was able to actually transition her depression and her grief into a podcast. So we'll be able to hear her story today. And it's such an honor to have you on today's show and just be able to be transparent and open up to share your story. So thank you so much, Holly, for coming on. How are you doing this evening?
Thank you, ladies, for having me. I'm doing well. How are you two beautiful ladies?
Thanks very much.
So before we get into the good stuff, can you tell us a little bit about your life and how it was growing up?
So, I was born to Africans, and that alone is. It was an interesting childhood for sure. Obviously, things took an interesting turn once I became pregnant at 14. Because then that's when all the sneaking and all the lying started with me. So, it was okay. My mother was a great mother. She adapted from being an African mom and having American children. But my father was there, but he wasn't there. I think y'all know what that means.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can relate. Mm-hmm. So, being as though that you were birthed into a different family, was there ever a part in your life where you wanted to know your biological parents, or were you okay with just knowing who raised you?
Those are my biological parents.
Oh, they are? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Tyra.
What age were they moved to the United States?
So my dad, when he moved here, he was 30, and my mom moved here when she was 25.
Yeah, and that's crazy because that's like the peak of your life. So I always think about that with my friends. Like, they know the culture in America, but I can't imagine what life is like for their parents because you live through your kids because you're like, what is this?
Right.
What is this?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's so true.
Yeah. I have a couple of friends that their parents aren't from here, and it is crazy how much responsibility you guys take on.
No, it's really, really interesting though. It's so I was born in North Carolina. That's where my mom had me. Okay. And I like to tell people because I'm African, yeah, but I've never been on the continent. You feel me? I've never like I don't know what that's like there. So it's like I used to kind of get offended back when I was like a kid because I'm like, I don't know, yeah, my parents are African, but I'm like, I'm a Southern belle, baby. Like you can't take that. You can't take that from me.
That's why I was like, oh, well, she's not African. But now that you was like, no, those are my parents. I'm like, oh, my bad.
I was like, that's why her skin's so smooth like that. I was like, yes.
No, seriously, guys, it's interesting being born to foreign people and you're an American though. It's just different.
So you said you had your first child at 14. How
15.
was, let's take a walk down memory lane. How was that and, the transition and even telling your parents that you're pregnant?
That's the thing. That's where the secrets and stuff started.
Oh.
So I was 14 when I got pregnant. I found out I was 15 when I was 15 when I found out I was pregnant. And
I kept it a secret from my parents and started living a really, really interesting lifestyle. I'm not ashamed of it now, but I was on the streets, um, sneaking out, just being a very, very rebellious kid. So kept a lot of secrets from my parents. I was drinking a lot in my freshman year in high school. Um,
Wow.
just being so secretive, and I really I wish I could change that, y'all. I think
Mm-hmm.
the outcome would have been different, but no, my parents didn't know. I hid it from them all the way till the very end. I gave birth in my friend's living room. Um, I had my friends raising my baby when I went to school or when I was at home, so it was just a huge secret until she passed. Um, and then obviously shit hit the fan once that happened. But
Wow. So, how was the relationship with your mom? Was she not approachable? Were you able to talk to her about just the basic stuff or just
mm,
right?
oh, it wasn't like that. My mom was a great mom, but she was also influenced by my father, who wasn't really there. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm thankful they ain't together. They ain't together now. But
Right.
yeah, she was just kind of influenced by my dad a little bit, and so I couldn't talk to her. I had a social worker at my high school. Her name was Miss Jackson, and I pray she's still alive.
Oh,
Um, she was the one I could talk to about my pregnancy. She was the one that tried to get me help for it and stuff like that. So um, yeah, it wasn't an easy thing to come talk to an African parent about that because like I don't know what it is about foreign parents. They're just so judgmental and they're like, "Oh, you disappoint the family," and all that
mm-hmm.
other bullshit, you know.
And when you
And I
said
did.
you gave birth, are these friends your age at the time?
Nah, no. I was a teenager hanging around dope heads and drug dealers, and
Mm-hmm.
so no, they were like 21 and up.
21 and up. And you said now your family they didn't notice, like, did you have any excessive gaining from, how the last month
I,
before pregnancy? Whew.
I didn't start showing until I was 7 months, thankfully. Ooh, I got lucky.
I see that
I got
pregnancies. I feel like.
I got lucky. Because had the pregnancies I had with the two kids I got now, I wouldn't have been able to hide shit. But yeah, I got lucky. I got lucky with that one. And then it also, if this is gonna sound sad, it also helps that like your dad kind of doesn't pay attention to you. So I mean,
Mm-hmm. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
No, it does. And then they don't know the culture, so they can't give you a heads up. They don't. You're finding out firsthand
Right.
life, so you don't know honestly a dope head until you were probably too far into it. You really don't.
way
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
way too far into it.
that definitely makes sense.
Wow. So how did that conversation go? Your friend was taking care of your child. You were in and out of school, and did she call you? Like, how did let's take us a step back into how the transition happened with your firstborn.
July 31st, 2008. It was the evening time around maybe 7 p.m. I went to the grocery store to get milk. I was an alcoholic and I popped pills, so I didn't want to breastfeed. So I went to get her milk. Um, be careful who you allow your children around. But
Mm-hmm.
um, long story short, I come back. I find my daughter floating face down in the tub. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
In that like 60, not even 30 seconds that you see that, what do you even remember what went through your head?
I wanted to drown too because I had felt like such shit because I didn't even want my baby initially. So, for her to be born and for somebody to do that to her, I felt like complete shit.
Oh, so this was intentional. This wasn't like she was just playing in the tub.
Wow.
Correct. Um, yeah, it was just so devastating, and then the investigation into it was just a complete joke too. There
Mm.
were police in Colorado. I'm just gonna call you guys out real quick. They looked at me just like this drug addicted teenager.
Wow.
They didn't take me seriously, and then they deemed it an accident.
Whoa.
And the two girls that did it haven't seen them in almost 15 years. So um, it's just kind of a joke.
Where were those girls when you got back and you saw your daughter?
They were gone.
Okay. How is that an accident? How do you leave? Like, what?
Right.
The same way that, the police be trying to tell us that some people committed suicide and we know better.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
My whole life is insane.
Wow. Wow. So coming home and, seeing your daughter face down in the water, you explained how you felt. Did Were you able to have a conversation with the people that was watching your children before the investigation, or were they just ghost?
Poof, Houdini. It's interesting. When I was growing up, I used to watch these movies with people like that. And I told myself, oh, I'd never do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
okay.
I did.
We all, no, trust me. We
Right.
all have done it. I've actually learned to stop saying that because I feel like God is like, oh yeah. And he puts you right in it. So it's okay. Forgive yourself.
Wow.
I don't, I don't know how to, I don't know how to forgive myself because I had a stillborn son January 7th, 2010. And although that his stillbirth hurt me, um, I was able to heal from losing my first son.
Mm-hmm.
But with my daughter, it's a lot harder because the father still ain't shit till today.
It's so crazy.
And
It's automatically extra. I didn't even think about it. And it's so unfair.
Right.
yeah,
And during the investigation, did he, was he any support during that whole time?
he was never there. He wasn't there at all. He wasn't there at all. He wasn't there for me at all. The day I told him I was pregnant, we were at this. It's not a wake, but like this African that we know's family member died, and we all went to like that person's house and gathered around them and ate and stuff. I forget, I don't know what that's called in English, but we went and had that kind of event. It was like that was December of 2007, and I remember everything I wore down to like this pearl necklace I had on, and I remember getting a plate of food, and then he was sitting like on the. Oh, look at me! Acting like you guys can see this. He was sitting on this wall, and I was going downstairs with the rest of the kids. And I remember looking at him, rubbing my belly, nodding at him, and walking down the stairs and never seeing him again.
Mm, wow.
Because when I walked back upstairs like an hour later, he was gone.
This is a movie.
Yes. This should be transpired into a movie. So this day, do you still have resentment towards the father?
Very much so. I wanna forgive him though, but because what do they say? Forgiveness is for us, not for them, right?
That's true. It's
But
on yourself.
it's
Have you,
hard to forgive somebody who's not remorseful.
Yeah.
mhm. Have you forgiven yourself?
No, and I don't think I will, to be honest, because my baby should be 15 in July. The years just keep going. I don't know how to forgive myself because there's so many milestones that I don't get to do. There's all these what ifs. What if
Hmm.
she was here? What would she be doing? Would she be a A+ student? Like it just goes on. Because when her 20th birthday, I'll be thinking something else. When her 20th, I mean, it's a continuous pain.
Hmm.
It just gets easier to live with.
I know it's easier said than done, but you can't blame yourself for other people's actions.
Yeah. And sometimes it's accepting apologies we don't get
Yeah.
and allow yourself to feel feel everything. That does not make you weak at all. And I don't think anyone can handle what you've been through.
Right.
And so it does not make you weak at all.
Right.
So how was the initial process? Because it sounds like a lot of people you had around you weren't good. And the ones that could have helped didn't know. So how did your parents find out about, you know, story, and how was it with like friends and family and being supported with it?
So the social worker that I told you guys about earlier, Miss Jackson, told my parents. Um, and as you can imagine, my mother was very not disappointed. She was just really sad that I couldn't come talk to her about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But my dad judging me,
Mm-hmm.
well, why were you having sex and blah blah blah,
Looking at the negative of everything. Mm-hmm.
as he does till this very day.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, I bet that's what Burger thinks about you too. I hope you, if she is living, I hope you guys can reconnect. She sounds like a great person.
Right.
I gotta find her.
Yeah. Oh,
She was amazing.
that's powerful. Do you with your dad? Well, let's take it back. Being as though your dad was so judgmental and prideful and things like that, do you think, based off of the relationship that you had with your father, it tied with maybe poor choices in picking men for
Very much so.
Yeah.
Our fathers are supposed to be our first loves, right?
right
They're supposed to teach us that, and he didn't. So I went.
looking
What?
other right? Mm-hmm.
I've been realizing that too. Because they say you end up marrying someone like your dad. And,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a mom, you know, when they say you gotta love, your man has to love you more. I feel like women show that like you cater to your man and you do all this. And you do, but you do that to a good man. So sometimes we fight for approval for so long, thinking like this is what I do when I care about someone. The whole time they're ruining your life. You know what I mean? So what signs that this was even going? Like you knew like okay, this is a narcissistic man. Like what happened? What were some characteristics or so
Are we
just
talking about
women that
my
are
father, my father, or my kids, or my first daughter's
uh,
father?
uh the well, just your relationships with men in general after experiencing that with your dad because he sounds closed off too.
Yeah, closed off, closed minded, everything. So I've been in nothing but abusive relationships, whether it be emotionally, physically, mentally, and sexually. I've been raped too. So
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
I really don't know what a healthy relationship is, which is really sad. Because of my father and others who shall not be named. Um, I almost lost my worth.
Mm.
Glad you didn't lose it all the way. And that's why I asked you about the signs, because I noticed you said emotional abuse. Sometimes I think people think if this one doesn't
That's
hit.
deeper than physical.
So
Because that can replay back over and over and over again versus pain, it goes away. It's a
yeah,
temporary feeling, emotional abuse. I feel, me personally, because I've been there, I feel as though that's more depriving than anything, especially when you come from a dysfunctional family and you're getting abused emotionally as
yeah.
well.
That's the truth.
Do you have any support in your adult life of positivity or something to just that smile that you have going on right now? Did you finally come across, someone that can encourage you, uplift you, and edify you, and bring the good out of bad situations for you to start loving yourself? Because that's my main concern.
I have. Telling you guys, podcasting really changed my life, especially my personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just doing this, I've made some amazing friends who have really brought me out of the dark, for real.
Yeah, I can relate. Yeah.
It's it's really really interesting. Well, it's really really interesting. So when we're going through stuff, right? Because we're all human, we
Mm-hmm.
get especially if you're um, you
Mm-hmm.
get judged and you get called weak, right, for being sad and wanting to get help for your mental.
Mm-hmm.
When is that narrative going to change?
I was thinking the other day, I was like, I have hope that soon, and that's so sad that I'm like, soon. I feel like people, like, I noticed that mental health is like we're raising more awareness. I,
I
Yes.
feel like we have it more than others because of our dysfunctional parents.
yeah,
And I believe that we are going to actually break the chain of being different and, wanting to get help and reaching out because back then, even ancestors, they believe they have the stigma or belief that, you can't speak to people, you can't tell people your business or
yeah,
what goes on behind closed doors is wrong. But a lot of the stuff that we go through needs to be talked about so that we can get the help that we need to be breaking change, and it gives us a different perspective of how we're supposed to live life because like you said, how do we have a good and healthy relationship if you've never seen one?
and if you've seen one, how can we fix it if we don't get help?
Right. If you can't acknowledge it, how are you able to fix it? So I feel as though our generation, we are breaking a lot of the curses of ordinary and stigmas upon our lives because we are starting to revive and see things as a whole. Have you tried getting counseling or at least speaking to like a therapist, a black therapist? Because I've had therapy before, and let me tell you, I had to get assistant because I was like, she gonna relate. She gonna relate.
If I
So,
can actually tell you that story, it was a little bit after my daughter passed. The social worker tried to get me a therapist through the county, and she was a black woman. The worst experience of my life, though. The therapy session happened in the principal's office, and I just remember seeing her pink shirt, red and pink rose skirt, and I just remember her just writing on her notepad and me crying about the situation. And I remember telling her, like, "Are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? Or are you just writing in your notepad?" She's like, "Oh, I'm listening, honey." Just kept writing, and I walked out of that session.
Wow.
Tell you something, Holly. I have had a few counselors or therapists, and I had the one that is writing, and then I had the one that is just looking at me, nothing in their hands, like we're friends. So I know
Mhm.
you're not wrong, and I thought I was crazy. I was like, no, maybe because I'm very self aware. So I was like, do I just want attention? Like I was like,
Right,
I felt
right.
like. Listen, I even tried a guy, woman, new. Like I was like, I feel like, and it's crazy because you waste so much time thinking it's you because that's how you grow up in life. Your dad literally blamed you
Mm-hmm.
in the hardest time of your life instead of consoling you. So it's naturally
Right.
as Black women to take blame when something doesn't go right.
Mm.
So it's just so
And
crazy to see how the system not only failed you,
right, right,
not
right. Have you tried someone else besides that one? Because we all have bad experiences. How many times have you went out to a restaurant and you be like, "This is my favorite
yeah,
restaurant," and then one time you go there and it's like, "Who is cooking that day? This food is trash. This is not. It was rushed." Like, I feel as though with those type of experiences, you should try it at least another time because me personally, my therapist, I don't know, maybe I just hit it right on. And if you need her number, I got you. She do virtual. Her name is Shanae. She very down to earth.
no.
She must be writing, but she's visual. It's virtual, so like she's in the zone when we have our conversations, and she's definitely helped me transition from a domestic relationship and just a lot of stuff that I've been through as a whole. But I got you if you need that. But I would say, have you tried someone else besides that issue? I mean, I don't want you to give up.
Sorry about that.
You're fine.
So I did get therapy again, but unfortunately, it was because my ex boyfriend tried to kill me. So this was just another case. Um, so yeah, I ended up getting therapy. She was a beautiful woman named Shannon. Ooh, I loved her, but therapy ended up. It was only during the course of the case. So
Mm,
um,
Wow.
wow.
yeah.
And you, so after your daughter, you then move on. Did you want children, or did you? How'd you feel? Because I see that you started dating.
Mm-hmm.
When you dated a new guy, did you like want to have family, or was it like I
What was your goals? Right.
So after my daughter passed away, I did start dating again. But the young man died in a car accident in March of 2009.
Whoa, whoa.
Um, so it happened again.
Wow.
Um,
And how old? Sorry.
he was 16 and I was 16 when he passed. Um, I don't know. I just thought I had bad luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
I did want other children, but I wanted another child for the wrong reason. I wanted to replace my daughter.
Companionship.
Yeah. So I just tried to have a baby with whomever I was dating.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
not healthy.
Yeah, but you didn't know.
But you, like I said, you didn't know. You can't blame yourself. You can't blame yourself because it's like, how do you know what the healthy relationship is if you've never had it? You know?
By being.
Right, right.
I just.
And were you able now after the two kids that you had, um, were you able to have another child or how did that transition go?
So after my daughter and then my stillborn son, I found out I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I had PCOS. Um, so it just became like a bigger hurt because now it was going to be harder for me to have children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we can literally sit here and talk about this, y'all. It's been literally up and down, multiple miscarriages in between there, and just just wanting something that I didn't need
Mm-hmm.
at the time.
You were looking
But
for love. You wanted
Yeah.
something to love you so that you can love them back. In which nothing's wrong with that because we do that. A lot of people do that.
You were at a young age. You didn't have anything consistent or anyone that you can trust. Of course, what do? You go look for that
Right.
because you know you're worthy of it. So you're like, nah, I'm gonna find it.
Mhm.
Yep. Oh, it's okay. It all makes sense.
I
And
just
I
don't want you to blame yourself,
talking will help, and I think that's great that you do podcasting for that reason.
Yes. Hmm.
And you tell stories amazing. Like not everyone can, talk.
But have the courage to be able to speak and, share your story. That definitely takes courage. Absolutely. And I definitely see your story becoming a movie because this happens more than often. It's really unreal, and we as African Americans, we have to change the game,
Yeah.
so that we can help the next generations. As being a mom now, how is your life, raising kids now?
So I love being a mom.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of wish that we had like 1992's rent with like
Okay.
2023's wages. That's the only thing I like. That's the only thing. But no, I love it though. Just things are just way too expensive. But
Mm-hmm.
we make it.
Is your children able to communicate and talk to you about things that you weren't able to talk to your parents about?
My kids can come to me. They're only 2 and 3 now, but
Okay.
you know, my daughter is very vocal at 3. She's
Oh.
almost 4, so she's very vocal about things, and I'm glad because like sorry, not sorry, but I want
Mhm.
my kids to be able to come talk to me about everything. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
even if they lose their virginities and stuff, I want them to come talk to me about that. I wasn't able to talk to my parents about stuff like that, but I want to make sure that I'm protecting my kids in every aspect: mental, physical, sexual, spiritual, all of that. So
Mhm.
I want to make sure that I'm changing that narrative of making sure that they can come to me and talk to me about any and everything. Because what is that phrase from when we were all younger? Children should be seen and not heard. What was that
Mm,
about?
That is insane. Yeah.
yeah,
So that's why I'm proud that you're
girl. I'm
that.
so proud. Right, I am, and I love that you know you're able to um, be aware of the signs of things that you went through, so that you can do the opposite for at least your children, and then you know, God willing, we'll be able to send you a man to be able to show you how you're supposed to be treated. You know, sometimes I think we spoke about this last episode I had with Tyra, but sometimes we date what we can and not what we want.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And I'm gonna need you to start writing down what you want in a man so that you can give yourself hope in finding that.
And the process is boring. It's
The process is dry. Okay, the process is dry. Let's put it that way. The process
that's
is
the
dry.
right word in all
I ain't
aspects.
gonna lie. I don't know what's going on in that little, pool right now.
right.
Yeah.
It's a little misty.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. I'm like, is there chlorine in that thing?
I,
Just
I
ooh.
don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe nobody cleaned it since COVID. I don't know what's going on, but there is definitely light at the end of the tunnel. Start writing down the things that you want in a relationship and possibly the things that you didn't get in your family.
Yeah. That's smart.
Manifest it. Manifest what you want.
Literally,
And
I just thought about this. You need to ask yourself if young Holly would confide into that man.
mm,
Because you were afraid to speak up. So I feel like that puts you in a position automatically to
but she
accept.
was lost too. Like think about it. She was lost.
Way too
She
young.
was lost. She was very lost and she didn't have any positive guidance within her life. So she from now tell me if I'm wrong, that's okay. But from what I'm hearing, you were just trying anything and everything and you were just, living your best life and then whoops, you know? So I think now we just have to take you back down to your childhood and be like, you know what? As a parent, as a mom, this is what I did wrong, but this is how I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
And this is what I want now moving forward, so that you can be the evidence to your children now of what a good and healthy relationship looks like. And it's possible, you know, that smile that you have on your face can be forever internally if you start working into the right places of what you want in a man, not what you can have. You see what I'm saying?
And it's like, I said this before, I think in a motivational Monday, like the unknown is scary. So it's like I I don't want someone that considers my feelings, but
Mm-hmm.
you never had that. You don't. So that's why we don't look in their eyes.
Right.
We're not going to places you meet a good man at. You know what I mean? It's not just we're doing that.
Yeah. That's a good point, Cyber. Where are you willing to find a good man at? That's good.
Yes. Where are you going, Ollie?
No, nowhere.
I was thinking. I was thinking that
Nowhere.
social media changed the game because you can have a relationship with someone you haven't even seen, and if you ask that man, he is single. You know what I mean? So social media, and it also has your options open to the entire. And so I think it makes it harder than back in the
Mm-hmm.
day when because I'm like the marriage rate is just but it's you see your options. That is the biggest temptation. This world is just it's crazy. I could go on about that.
Girl,
Yeah,
don't get me
That's
started.
another topic, girl.
it is. We might
That's
have
definitely another topic.
to-
Oh, right. I'm I'm glad that you were able to use your grief as a podcast.
yeah.
Let's speak a little bit on your podcast and how we can tune in and how things have been coming along with that.
So my podcast is called Morning Mimosas. Absolutely love it. And if I can just break down why it's called that. So
Yes, that's what I want to know. See.
morning is awaken. So I want to awaken our people. And then mimosas is my favorite alcoholic beverage. So there's just that. Yeah. Just like,
It's refreshing.
hey.
I love the orange juice that comes inside of it. And now I recently not was it last year? They have like mimosa different flavors. You got strawberry now, not just orange.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, yes, sorry, you got to tap in. They got strawberry now, blueberry. I've noticed that when I went to Texas, they have different flavors of mimosa. So
Mm-hmm. There's this place out here. I haven't been there yet, but they have a lavender mimosa. Can't wait to try that. That just sounds bougie, like that pinky out type shit. Like,
Not calm and drunk. That's lovely.
I love it. I love it. Okay,
um,
so viewers, make sure y'all tune in and check out her podcast. How often do you typically record?
so we do it every Saturday.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
And is it on, can we find you on Facebook then, all streaming platforms, or where are you located? Okay, go ahead, girl.
So Morning Mimosas is on Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, and then on my TikTok.
Thanks. Okay. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Okay.
Well, before we go any further,
Go ahead, Tyra. Let me see if you have any comments.
yeah, I just have one last question for you.
Nope, no questions or comments from the audience.
It's a question we ask all our audience once they come on, or our special guests. Say you're very special. What makes you uncommon? And before you answer that, I want you to think deep, because I don't want it to be anything that was attached to your pain, because you are more than your pain.
Yes, that's real good.
What makes me uncommon? Well, okay, so what makes me uncommon is I actually have common sense. Ooh. Because common sense ain't so common anymore. So there's that. Had to make y'all laugh, but that's true though. And I don't know. I just feel like I'm an OG, an original girl.
You are.
I don't do the same things as other people. I keep to myself, and I'm trying to change the narrative. I don't want things to be the same. Common is what? Same, right? And uncommon is not the same. So I'd rather, I'd
different
rather,
from others.
yep. And I'd rather be uncommon all day, every day.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's how you change lives and touch people.
Yes.
That's the only way to, so you're in the perfect position. You are so inspirational. I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
I'm gonna say
Stay
that.
uncommon, girl.
Please do us a
Oh,
favor.
of course. Remember,
Someone
common
has to
sense
raise those
ain't
kids
so
up.
common.
Yeah.
Right.
Please.
It's horrible. Ooh.
Yes. Wow. Since we are transitioning to TV and things are getting, spicier but better for us, if you have anything that you or anyone you know would like to promote, let us know because we will be doing commercials. And that's a really big way to catch people's attention and get some promotion. We will advertise you, of course. Always love to promote people. Um, Check in with us, tune in with us, Uncommon Woman. And if you guys do want to be a part of the podcast, please email uncommonwomanpodcast@gmail. Make sure you put podcast at the end, okay? And then let us know, give us a bio, tell us about you. Everyone should have a common story, and if you don't, please go find one.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't forget about Motivational Mondays, girl.
Oh my gosh, how could I forget? Feeling that they're gonna get better. Like I feel like I've been going through something. God's talking right to me, and they're gonna get better, guys. So please tune in.
Yes.
I plan on working with other people and doing some other stuff because I'm not the only thing that can motivate you.
Yes. I love that. I love that. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, Holly. Thank you so much for, coming on the platform and giving us the opportunity to hear your story. You are wonderful, and I don't want you to dim your shine. Your light continues to be powerful and different to be able to inspire the children that you are raising. Get that list ready, girl. He's coming. Get that list ready.
He sure is. he's
I'm
he's
looking forward
close. He's
to
closer than I think.
yes, see, there you go. And I'm looking forward to joining into one of your shows as well, Saturdays, with Morning Mimosa. Now for the Morning Mimosa, do we have to have our mimosa as well to tune in?
Because I can make it happen.
I mean, I don't always have a mimosa sometimes. Sometimes, I got me just like a bottle of water. But if you want to, sip on some information, because we have like our sip moments during our show.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Um, so, yeah, you guys can definitely sip on a virgin mimosa if you need to, too. It's a sparkling water and OJ. So, OJ, no Simpson, though.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You're funny. I'm gonna again. Let us know.
Yes, I'd love to be back. Thank you guys for having me, and thank you for allowing me this space to speak.
Yeah. Thank you for being so courageous.
Yes. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in.
Yeah.
And remember to stay uncommon.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you've been shacking up with us for a while and haven't subscribed to our channel, what are you waiting for? Please like and subscribe to Uncommon Woman so you won't miss another episode. And remember, don't let anything or anyone affect your peace. Good vibes and stay uncommon.